Namaskar, and welcome to this exciting new episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sat means truth, logos means a study or science, Sattology means a science of truth or study of truth. Mythology, on the other hand, means a study or science of fake, lie, or imagination. Today, this is my second video in a series where I'm showing you the real, and I live in San Diego. Junipero Serra in 1769 set up the first mission of California. And it's coming in my new book also, The Curse on the Natives, where I have detailed history, the human rights abuses of natives by the mission. These are the Christian missions. And I just took it from outside. It's my interest from the historical purposes. This is a purely educational video. And the point which I'm trying to say is that these missions had severe human rights abuses against the natives of America. I do not know, its mission is very private, so we could not go inside. So I took this video just to show you from outside. And the one thing about this mission was 21 missions were set up. This was the first one. And people were kept captive inside. Native Americans used as slaves. And also many Native Americans were kept outside. And the children were separated and put into other families to Christianize them, to remove them from their identity of their own Native American cultures. Such was the hatred. And this has happened all over the world. The missions were the biggest abusers of human rights for the natives of those lands. Happened in Europe also, believe me. Happened in Europe, UK also. You had happened in every part where the missions were done. Recently, the graves were dug out from Canada. Similar missions. To the hatred of Native Americans was so high. I don't know why. Why everyone has to be converted to their faith. And this was the biggest problem. And I tell you one thing, Native Americans had a far superior culture of coexistence and tolerance than the invading Spanish churches. I'll stop here. Watch this entire video. I have also covered two sites over there. One site was where the horses of the mission were kept. The military cavalries were kept in Bonita and Rancho El Purismo. And you see that, Purismo. And when these guys talk about morality, we don't know what they're talking about. Check it out. And then we'll talk later.
Hello. So this is the Sweetwater Valley, and was the valley. This entire valley was used for Kumeyaay, Native Americans who used to live here, and it is also known as Rancho El Purismo. The Rancho El Purismo is a place where the Spaniards, we all know that how Spaniards destroyed this land. This is not their land. This belongs to Native Americans. But anyway, they colonized it. They destroyed millions of, I would say hundreds of thousands, and millions will be an exaggeration. But since we do not know the numbers, take the worst number if possible. Millions of Native Americans were destroyed. And this golf course has come into this valley. The valley stretches all the way back. If you can see it, all the way back to almost to La Vista. But this entire valley was called Rancho El Purismo, and later on it also became Rancho del Nacion. And if you see on the other side, on this side you have the river, Sweetwater River. This is a trekking trail, and my bicycle is down over there. I just came here to shoot this video just to show how beautiful this land was, and somehow it was taken over by the Spaniards, who all came for three things: gold, glory, and God. So gold was the first reason, and that's how we know how they looted Aztecs and Incas, and then they came to Baja. And Junipero Serra was their friar. It was a Diocese friar I don't know the titles much, but it's coming in my new book. But generally, he was a religious scholar. Opened the mission, and I think it was opened in 1769 maybe. And that's how more colonization started in the name of God. And then we see that most of those churches, missions, were accused of slavery, child slavery. They would separate the mothers and fathers, keep the parents as slaves in the mission to serve as laborers, cheap laborers, and the children were forced to live with the Christian families. And that's how this whole place was developed. Now obviously it's a free country, but still the scars are already there. You know what has happened to Native Americans here on the basis of God. Gold, glory and God. I say God was the last part. But anyway, and those missions are still active. And in my view, those missions must be closed down in San Diego. All those missions in California must be closed down for what they have done, human rights abuses they have done, because they are more of a symbol of forced bondage than actually anything to do with God or anyone else. Anyway, so this is what it is. Beautiful land, Rancho El Nacion, Del Nacion, and Rancho Del Purismo. So thank you all for listening to this show. It's going to come up in one of the videos shortly. Namaskar. This is the first mission established in the state of California by the Junipero Serra or Junipero Serra, and this is what I'm saying, that how the place was established. He is credited with setting up 21 missions, and this was the first mission set up. It's still in its original form, but has been repaired, and we can see that the church itself, the mission, was not really taken well by the Native Americans. Now let me just walk you through. Now you'll love to see, this is the main entrance, and I'll walk you through the first this is the front look, and believe me, I have to still speak with the parish and take pictures or even the video inside, because I have to take permission. It is still considered a private property of the Roman Catholic Church. It's not a public property. It's privately owned directly by the church, and you can see the bricks seem to be very old during the time of Native Americans, and here you can see like you can see the small bricks, which seem to be very old designed ones. Not cement has not been used. It's still the lime and other carvings on the bricks. You can see that here. And this was established in 1769, and that's where the conquest of California started. Now I'm walking on the bricks, presumably old, and many other missionaries and other people, and so it is called a mission. Now the word mission is used in mostly military circles, so it is nothing but a military mission of conquest of California. Now there are a lot of historical things here according to the Spanish history. So these are all Spaniards. They were conquering for the Spanish throne, and this is a tree known as the freedom tree, which was made for universal freedom. Right, reads like this: with the vision of universal freedom for all mankind. And it is dedicated to somebody. Freedom tree. Now a lot of things you see around here still maintained in the old way, and it has been preserved. But one thing about this place is that this place was preserved for, like, the Native Americans did not like it because it also served as a jail, and slave trade was very common. So Native Americans were taken as slaves here. I do not know whether it happened in this place also, but all missions had the same notoriety, and that's why Native Americans they thought that this place was invading their space. They did not take any permission from Native Americans, and you can see that crown over there resembles the crown of the Vatican, and with expensive stones on top over there. You can see that if you look at the top of that, and you can see the iron bars on the top through which they used to see which Native Americans are visiting. Now many apartments have been made here, but you can see this is called the Mission Valley, and hills are close by. Those who are used to guard this place. This is the hills on the west side over there. If you see my direction of my hand in front of the camera, that side is where the ocean is. So this place is around 7 to 8 miles from the ocean. Now let me just take you that it is a mark here that it says it is established by Junipero Serra. He is a friar, and check out his history on Wikipedia. And it is called El Camino Real, and Padre Junipero Serra to mark the southern terminus of El Camino Real as knew it and helped to blaze it. So it is a California registered historical landmark number 784. So this mark was placed in 1763. Now this place, you can see, if you can see it clearly, it was founded 16 July 1769 by Friar Junipero Serra. In Spanish we call him Junipero Serra. So the third church was built in 1808 and built and convened and dedicated on 1813. You know why? The reason is it was broken by the Native Americans. You can see the office, which was in the old times. You can see the bed, the cot over there, and some parts how the living quarters used to be and what they used to wear. You can see some cloth. Well, I do not have the permission to go inside, so I can only show you from outside. Even today it is a closely guarded secret, and this in terms of Indian temples, if you see, all Indian temples are open to public, especially those of ancient ones, much more older than this, but it is still guarded as a military place. It is not open to all, only to the Vatican Church, and it is also open to the people who follow that ideology. My question is very clear, that if it is a place of worship, then why it is not open to all? But it is not. It is still a military establishment, or follows the same mindset. Anyway, when I get a permission, I'm going to question it or interview some people inside when I get a permission, and let us see if that happens. If it does not happen, it's okay. Now you see more history being mentioned here. So none of these places are open to general public. It is an old colonial mindset, because a church, it actually conquered America. It is not and later on, under the church's insistence, you can see on the basis of church's insistence, you see that most of these places were conquered. And my next book, we are talking about natives. The natives we all know, the natives of California are the Native Americans. And the church is a foreign philosophy, is a foreign ideology. And inside you can see the old places here. And I'm just not supposed to take inside. I'll just show you what is it visible from here. These are the locations of old places which are of interest to some people. And you can visit it, you can see what was burnt down, what is broken. So Native Americans did not take it very lightly, because this is a conquest on their own culture. This is not something which is taken lightly by them. The reason why I'm doing it is, we have to debunk mythology. What is being taught to us, Indians especially, and what is actually the reality, nobody knows. And it is our duty as a seekers of truth, Satyamev Jayate, to talk about these cultural issues and also protect the rights of other people. We as Indians, or followers of Sanatan Dharma or Hindu culture or followers of Bhagavad Gita, if we do not fight for truth, who else will? And if we do not talk about truth, who else will? Believe me, the amount of freedom that you see in the Hindu culture is phenomenal. And I invite all kinds of people to relish the freedom, because the Hindu means a free mind, a free intellect, free intelligence, a scientific frame of mind. This is what Hinduism stands for, or Hindutva. So here it's a, let me show you something about this. It says, and you can read it very clearly, I've zoomed it, and it is a history which is mentioned here. Now the point which I'm trying to say is that the different aspects of these faiths, they have different aspects of this faith have carried on an agenda based on literary lies and also the fake stories of miracles. Now if you look at the miracles, now there is no miracle which has happened here, and sometimes the fake stories were planted to fool the Indians. This also mission had so many slaves, and their children were separated from their parents, Native American children. That was really offensive to most of them. I cannot go inside, but I can talk about it from here. So thank you all for listening, and I'm going to do a commentary later on when I edit the video. Thank you. Namaste. Here I'll show you from outside. See how it looks over there. So that is a parking lot, and in fact most of the Christians and most of the people who follow or claim to be Christians can't even afford to come here. You need a membership, and you have to pay for every single service. In Hindu temples it is not like that. Hindu temples you attend it free, and it's your birthright to attend. Nobody can stop you. But here it's not possible. Okay. In fact, like, I was stopped from taking a videography inside. It's not because of anything else. In India, the problem is sometimes the temples is not allowed because of the colonial people used to steal the deities. That's the reason India is not allowed. But here there is no such thing. There is no deity here. But still it is not allowed because it's a colonial country. So thank you all for listening, and I will see you later on. Namaste.
I hope you saw the entire video. Now I'm going to tell you, and that, believe me, that the scars of slavery and colonization stay much longer than just that incident. Stays for generations. So when people come back later on, now this never happened in Sanatan Dharma. This kind of treachery never happened in the Hindu culture. This kind of treachery did not happen in native culture also. This treachery was only seen in the European colonial Christian missions, whether you call it Catholics or whatever denomination, all of them are abused like anything. So this is a reminder from the history. Let us not repeat it again, ever again. The best thing I would say to these missions is, since you're already here for so many years, apologize. Apologize. Accept the guilt. You will not get salvation without apologizing and accepting your guilt. Say sorry and pay for it. Give your missions to Native Americans back. And that's how it begins. Namaste and thank you. Remember, karma hurts us badly, all of us. It lingers on, lingers on, lingers on. Namaste.